This is Build Series Sydney. I'm your host, Danny Clayton, and right now, the human personification of rock and roll itself, the Delta Rigs!
Yay!
Hello, boys. It's good to have you on the couch.
Hello.
I feel like we're on Dr. Phil.
That's a lot
G'day.
to live up to. I don't know if that's just a stressful sentence.
I know, I can tame it down. Some dudes that play some instruments and sing
Better.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Every time we kind of get asked to do an interview, it's like, music. And here we are again. So
Yeah. Are you saying you're not enjoying yourself, Elliot? We've barely begun.
No, I am.
I enjoy Elliot.
I enjoy myself, especially coming here. You've got a bunch of great people on the team.
Yes.
And obviously, Danny, you know, we're all very close.
Old friends.
We go back.
Yes, we go back. And that's why I'm very excited about the release of your forthcoming fourth album on September 6.
Correct.
Could have been
nice.
September 4. I don't know, just an idea. But God, Modern Pressure, let me know. I want to know about it. Tell me everything I want to know, where you recorded it, how the songs came together, the new sound. This is exciting stuff. Elliot, you start.
Yeah, all right, I will start with pleasure, Danny. Thank you. What we did is we wrote a bunch of songs, and we did it actually on the Gold Coast because we realized that we were like getting really distracted when we have a space in Melbourne and we work out of Sydney sometimes, but we were going to the pub all the time, or the pub was coming to us. Yeah. So then we went like, hang on, let's find somewhere like where we don't want to go out to the pub. So that's when we found ourselves up in.
We still made it to the pub.
In the back of Madra Bar.
We converted my parents were away at the time. We just pretty much Madra Bar, mate.
There was
They
They didn't know about
We
it.
converted their sort of like living room just into a studio full of umbrellas.
Actually, we have some footage of that. We could just bring it up right here.
That's
We don't have that. No.
Roll tape.
We don't have the throw ready. Okay, we'll go.
We've got some technical issues.
That's
we'll
all right.
play it a little bit later.
So they were like, it was a really good time, and they then got fleshed out. This is the first one we've done in like a bunch of different countries, states, studios. Usually we just go into the studio and do the thing in like 6 days or however many days we can afford to do it, which is usually a week or so. But this is like some of the stuff was done in the States when Rudy and I were over there working on another project, and then some of the stuff was done in Melbourne, but it coincided with this. We don't swear, do we?
I mean, you can if you'd like.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel better.
I just really want to like add some like, you know,
Some
do you want
emphatic
to
dialogue.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you want to add some
Chutzpah.
Yeah.
chutzpah, some
Thank you.
wunderbar.
yeah.
You can drop an expletive, but
I
you
will.
only get 3.
I'm gonna
for the
make
entire
it count.
interview.
Yeah, I'm just not going to do
counting.
it now. I'm going to get back to my story. We went to
Good to know that we can do that.
yeah. It takes the
When needed.
the load off a bit. Yeah. We were in Melbourne and there was a heat wave, and it was like 43 degrees or something. You're going to weigh in here, Rudy,
I just wiped this completely from my memory.
We weren't
Rudy's
getting
eyes
along.
lit up.
No, it's just like this is what my brain's just erased this from my life history because it was.
It was horrible.
It was, and also as well as being 43 degrees, then the air conditioner broke.
Oh, God.
And these these analog desks and stuff, they run pretty hot. It was just a nightmare. So that stuff we pretty much abandoned. I don't think we got.
No, we did.
No, we got about
3.
4 songs out of it.
Did we?
Frown was
We'll
from
never
there?
really know
No, we
what
redid
actually
Frown.
made it to the album out of
No,
that.
we used that, and we used Friendly Fire. That was
Okay. Right.
See, I
That's
thought
3.
I thought that this story was going to go. It's like, this is why these songs are so hot. You know.
Oh
like
no!
they've got-
This album is
Yes.
fucking grueling. It was awful.
That's one.
Awful experience.
It
Like
is the-
usually it's
it
heaps
is
of
the
fun,
best
and that
one, though.
yeah, it's the best album, but it wasn't the funnest to make. We've had a lot of fun in the past. That's pretty shitty albums. So, this time we're like, let's try something different.
Let's make it sucking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listening to the first few tastes of the record, dare I say it almost has this is it. Is this it? References from the Strokes.
The Strokes first record.
And like, so far we're getting this a vibe that Modern Pressures is kind of about that, about things that stress us out in the modern day. Would I be right, Monty?
Well, it wasn't really. We didn't go on like to make a concept record as per se, like about. But the Modern Pressure came along because all the subject matters of the song kind of started tying into everyone on their phones and social media and the pressures of money pressures and girlfriends and relationships and I mean, girlfriends are great. Hi, Carly.
I think that what you mean is it's like that there's, then these conversations happening everywhere, but we have access to how.
Double tap.
Yeah, like it's shit house really. Like
So
it's
three.
always like it's like a
Yeah.
social. It's like a social commentary
Oh, shit.
without being social commentary, I guess.
I used
Without, like,
the
in the
term
intent
that
of
Elliot
that.
was going to use.
But yeah, that's. Did I steal your words?
Yeah, he was going to say social commentary. He was saving that.
Well,
He wasn't. That's all right.
Because I mean, you could
But
say
you
that,
mean musically? It sounds like, is this it?
yes, that's what I was going to say. I mean, even the aesthetics. You have this cyberpunk kind of style. I'm liking the
Oh,
motorcycles.
you saw that? It's my bike.
I was going to bring that up.
Sci-fi 80s vibes.
Yeah, I'm like, I recognize that motorcycle. Is that your motorcycle in the
We've got-
music clip?
It's a star now.
Yep.
10,000 views.
It also
10,000 people have seen it.
It also got a flat battery.
Yeah,
we- Mike.
So heavy.
He went to go
Had to
ride
pick
it
it up
home
and
and it
it- yeah.
didn't
Is
start.
that,
have to get
all
someone to
that
come when
light
you get
speed
Yep.
drained
Yeah.
the battery.
There is a definite nostalgic feel to the album, and that we're trying to do it with the imagery and the art and stuff as well. Because for us, it's like it was diving, well, especially for me, being someone that like is kind of chiefly responsible for the actual like the lyrics and the subject matters. It was really trying to like dive back into my innocent, like young self, where I just. Before I was so corrupted and like turned into an adult, like back when everything was just rad.
Yeah.
Everything was rad. Like if it was raining, it's like, sick, we're going to the beach. It's going to be raining while we're in the beach. Like,
You're
simple
riding your
stuff
pushy
like that.
around, to
Yeah.
pick up your mates. And
Life was simpler back then,
Yeah.
wasn't it, boys?
I guess that's life.
And you can't get that back though. So,
No.
but you can try and like, capture what that essence is. And sometimes like, there's some more, I guess, serious subject matters in the album that are maybe masked by like more poppy overtones. Like there's actually about being really down and feeling like you can't really like reach out to anyone, and sometimes you just need a friend that is going to come over and be like, come on man, like I want to be your friend and let's go out and do something, so yeah, there's a lot of like, I guess, maybe touches on some mental health, or not mental health really, but just like
Looking after your mates.
yeah,
Well, yeah.
and
Well-being in general, I think.
Human
just
issues.
looking up and having a look around and talking to people. And
From aware. Of
Yeah.
what's
away
going
from the
on.
pressure of modern life.
Yeah. I mean, like, this is a theme for the band. Maybe not this record, but a theme for the Delta Rig seems to be mates, because you are another one of those bands where everyone is mates with you. Like, everyone's like, oh, yeah, the Rigs.
Everyone's mates with Monty.
Everyone says, I wanted to make you guys feel included, but everyone is mates.
I've got a story.
with Monty.
If it's, do we have
I'm a
time
good
for a
time
quick story?
guy.
Yeah, of course.
All right,
Rudy,
so
over to
it's
you.
To
In the red phone, the
yeah,
police.
this is just making more of a point of what I'm talking about.
Make sure that mic stays up.
I'll
You're a
make-
music. Why can't musicians use microphones?
Because
That's
we use
super-
we use cardioid, not super or hyper or whatever these are.
All right.
There you go. If I talk
right.
like this,
we
this
have
is
people
better.
to set them up
All right.
for
So
us.
anyway, I don't know what you're doing. I was at Frankie's Pizza for some reason ages ago, and I was supposed to stay at why was I there? I was supposed to stay at Monty's house in Redfern, and I think I left my card at the bar, and then my phone went dead, and I couldn't do anything except for I was like, had to give up, and I just started walking from the city to Redfern, and then this police car pulled up and just sort of did the whoop thing, and I'm like, and then they just like talked to me and said like, you want to lift to? They ended up just asking me if I wanted to lift to Monty's house, and they were halfway through.
They didn't know you were
Yeah.
coming to my house. at this point.
No, sorry, that's right.
don't give away the punchline, man. It's coming. It's coming.
and we started talking, and he's like, "What do you do?" I asked to play music. He's like, "I have a gig," and he's like, "What band?" I'm like, "Delphi." He's like, "Oh, I know Monty." I'm like, "How does Monty know his police officer?" It just happened to pick him, and I think he witnessed the JP form from you the day before or something like that.
Yeah, he did.
And you went to the
I
same
went and
gig or
see him.
something. You went to I can't see what band. Anyway,
Yeah, no, that was
He
right.
remembered
cops picked
you.
me up
Anyway.
at 3 a.m. in the morning on the way to Mike's house. No, Mike.
Yeah. I mean, to put it this way, I've been to many events where people have gone, "Oh yeah, you're Monty's mate, aren't you?"
Yeah.
And that became my defining factor.
What, that you did?
Yeah, everyone's
You're
like,
more popular than me.
"No, not you, Monty. You're the hero of Sydney." But
Thanks.
I think we've been blowing smoke
Come on, get off me.
with Monty for quite some time. I want to bring it back to the crew and togetherness, making sure you stay sane. Because to tear you down a little bit, did you throw a keg at Elliot like a few days ago?
No, that was him.
Okay, he threw a keg at you.
No, this was Rudy. Threw a keg at Elliot.
Oh,
He didn't-
towards him.
He didn't hit me.
I mean, I can
I
tell
was
that
too quick.
story. But I won't.
No, we've had enough of you, Monty. Why are there being kegs thrown? Come on, we're all adults here.
This is like and we were just talking about this, obviously briefly off air, but the reality is this is a real band, and sometimes there's tears, and sometimes there's kegs being thrown, and sometimes there's walkouts, and sometimes there's big, all in hugs and love and great moments
High
too. But
fives.
it's not like
It's not all rainbows. And
we
skittles.
can't pretend that it is.
Well, that's what we've been together for 10 years.
Yeah.
Or give or take. We've known each other for longer.
Yeah. So I mean,
It's like a we're together. We live together sometimes. We've been together a lot. It's like being with
You know exactly
anyone,
how
your
to
brother
annoy
or
someone.
sister, or you can push. And it
One button.
took a while, I think. But I mean, obviously, there's a little bits and pieces that happen. But
I mean, it took a while to start brawling.
it took a while. No, it took a while to work.
took a while to stop too.
to work it out. But it's once you realize the type of people each individual is, and you know when someone's not to be fucked with, or
That's when you can really.
well, that's and that usually happens to me. They usually fuck with me when I'm not ready to be fucked with. Sorry.
I was getting so good this one time. So we're always quitting the band, right? Like that's just and that's a great thing we realized when you quit the band, you get to rejoin the band and you're kind of like all good again. So like, I don't know what I'm.
It's a reset.
I'm thinking I'm
you
pretty
gonna talk
high
about
up for
Wagga
quitting
here?
the band. Like I'd say I'm probably.
You've
you're
quit a
pretty-
couple of times. I've quit once or
But
twice.
the last time Monty quit, he's like, he quit and then flew out, and we're all in the van, like driving somewhere, and he's like, because this then it gets, as it does, not just with any friends, like you get into this aggressive text messaging, and like, I know I've used up all my swear words already, so you're just gonna have to start bleeping them out, whatever. But like Monty's like, yeah, fuck you, man. If you think I'm turning up to,
not what I said.
You're like, this
Hey,
is
where's your
exactly. Sorry, I was like, if you think, let me tell the story, right?
let
You
me-
can smear me later. But like, he's like, if you think that I'm turning up to Brisbane to play the show, like you're laughing, mate. Like you better find someone else for tonight. And I'm like, I messaged back. He's like, I do everything, you do nothing. And
I did say that.
yeah.
Is this the time we said we could replace?
So I messaged him back, and I'm like,
This is good.
just playing on this, like he does do a lot of shit. Yeah. And I'm like, man, that's fine. You've been pulling some real whack dance moves anyway. Why don't we just get one of those used car salesman friendly mans, and we'll put you the
What do
bass.
those look like, Elliot?
He's like, put the bass on the track, and then
Wacky
he's just like,
waving
he's like,
inflatable arm
he writes
flailing
like,
tube
fuck
band.
off, and then I'm like, actually, could you just get a quote for this
And
as
I
well?
did
Like,
get
and he actually sent back the quote, and I was like, that's actually cheaper than your show fee. This is probably like a pretty. Anyway, he turned up and did the show because we resolved it with humour.
Yes.
In the end of the day, that's everyone.
Yeah.
Ricky Gervais told me once, just on his thing, that it's always
Not
good
like-
to.
not
on his,
personally.
he
I think he
didn't
just,
tell me
like,
personally.
watched it. He
He
watched
told
it
me,
with the name
drop.
Yeah, that's right.
He's
No,
friends with
but he
everybody.
said he
Took it
tells
as-
this story about like at his mother's funeral, and they made this joke, and you've got to laugh in the face of adversity no matter what. Like if you're having the worst day, it's good to take the piss, as long as you're not crossing any moral boundaries. But as apart from that, I think it's always good to have a laugh. So that's what we do.
And I
we
think
tease each
sometimes-
other to the point of breaking, and then we just can't help but laugh.
But when it's really serious, like surely you must know this, man. Like when it's really serious, it's just so funny to just push it further, like, and that's what we do because we can't help it. It's just
you
like
know when
way-
you're going to hit send, it's going to really annoy that.
It's a pass.
Yeah.
It's like a pastime for
Yeah,
us.
it's just
I
like
do it, yeah, I did it
Which
the
is
other
like,
day.
which is wild because you have managed to survive the test of time. And not only that, you've been touring around the world. I mean, really soon you're going to be touring in Germany. I mean, gosh, the Galactic tour was massive. And very, very soon you'll be playing with Billy.
One of the idols.
the hero of the 80s. Now, I'm going to throw it over to you, Jesse. How does it feel to know that you are going to be sharing a stage with Billy Idol?
I love the 80s. And I'm sure everybody's mum was very excited.
Fond of Billy Idol.
Mum told me a lot of stories about how like Billy, got her through all these tough times. It's like
I think your mum wrote a comment on our.
Yeah,
I love your mum.
She's commented.
She's great.
Can we
on
actually
everything.
Great.
can we break down that remark? What did she actually say? What did your mum say about Billy Idol?
I actually haven't seen the comment, so.
Oh no! But what did she say to you?
Well, she said that when she broke up with her boyfriend that she was with when she lived in New York, she would get on the subway every morning and crank Billy Idol, and it was the best way to like start a day, and it like got her through it.
Yeah.
So I was
Are you
like,
gonna tell Billy Idol this story?
Are you
Let's
gonna
get a meet and
I
greet
think
happening.
he's probably heard that story probably like 97,000
Never
times.
heard anyone breaking up listening to Billy Idol. I think that's unique.
I think you'd be
Deeper
mistaken
than you think,
there.
man.
Yeah.
He's got white teeth.
He's
Yeah.
Very white teeth.
but anyway, he is an icon, and I love what he does, and I'm very excited for the shows. So
Yeah.
I think it's it's good for us because it's like that kind of touring is really nice.
Yeah, it's like the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
We did it.
Catering
And
all sorts
it's
of-
kind of
Like
the
your
weird,
show's done by 7:30. You're like,
you get a taste of that life.
Yeah. I mean, you brought up Foo Fighters. Sonic Highway was massive. It was wild. And I remember seeing you perform at the stadium in Sydney. And gosh, it was just such a big space.
Yeah.
And I thought, God, you boys look at home there.
We haven't been back.
Yeah.
felt like home.
It was
Well,
such
what are
a
you
big
doing about it, Monty?
There's such a big space that
Billy.
we got told there's a mark with tape down the ego strip where you can go out and do things. They're like, all right, just as long as you don't go past that
Explain
point.
what the ego.
I was like,
it's
ego
Dave Grohl's like little cock pad that he runs down.
that he runs
Runway,
down like a
David
His
runway.
dick around.
And
Face it,
and,
that's what it is.
and the line as you would cross it on
Yeah.
the ego strip, it just said Dave.
and
You're
we
not
weren't
allowed
allowed
to
to go
cross it.
past this line. But funny thing is, like, I'm like, well, my guitar lead doesn't reach halfway through that distance anyway because they're all running wirelesses and we're just running
You do the
peasants'
great.
guitar leads.
Monty does a great impersonation of Dave Grohl running with a guitar.
There's not
I
enough
wish we
room to
could get
do
that.
it.
Yeah, there's not enough.
How fast?
Can we get
how
you
fast
coming
are
through
these
the
cameras track?
Yeah, if we can get you coming through that door at some point, it'd be great.
Who wants to see the day? Yeah, I think.
Yeah, good.
Okay, come on, Monty.
Get him through the door.
From the door.
Where's the robot cameras? You got to follow me.
We had to
guitar
get a
and
guitar.
Come through the door.
I like that he's taking off the jacket, so he
right.
means business.
This is good. I'm gonna get this.
How often have you made Monty do this?
I've done it for a while, actually, but
Okay.
it never gets old.
So Monty's actually left the he's left the studio. Okay. All right. All right. Go for it. Here we go. I don't know how this is gonna work out, but and here comes David Grohl. Round of applause to David Grohl, everybody.
Like a pendulum.
Okay, no, Monty's now left the studio. Now that I've got you boys,
I got more space. Stretch out.
I mean, you guys got a chance to have a few beers with the Foo Fighters. You got a chance to kick it and
Yeah.
and chat. Do you guys still talk? Was there some
Yeah,
brewing down
actually,
moments?
Monty and I went
Monty
over
knows
to.
them the best. 'Cause
Yeah,
he knows
believe it or
everybody.
not. We went over to Chris's house in Malibu, and had some saladas,
Yeah, he made
chips,
some
and
coffee.
dip.
Hung out with his kids.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Even last time they were out here, actually, we
went out to lunch.
bumped into Dave at the backstage when I was wigging out about seeing Weezer. And
That's right. We met Rivers Como backstage, who we love.
we love.
And then we were all.
We wigged him out. He bailed. He was like,
He's like, yeah.
he let these nut jobs backstage.
Yeah. And I was pouring a whiskey in the Foo Fighters room, and David walked in the room, and he
David.
yeah, He remembered us though. He
Mr.
goes,
Grohl.
he's like, "Hey, you fucker." That's what he said. And then he was talking to Elliot and I, and then he was like, "I've still got that jacket you guys gave me." And we were just like, well, why don't you wear it and get papped in it? So, boost the profile.
Yeah.
But, that was...
There's some good, this great time, again, Monty and I were sitting in this lobby bar with Taylor Hawkins. And I told Taylor that he couldn't shuffle. Because I'm a drummer. I really feel like I'm more of a drummer than I'm a singer. I just when we started this band, none of these jokers could sing. Neither could I. And I was just the best of the... So I had to do it. Yeah, the best of the worst. So, but the truth is with Taylor Hawkins is he can't shuffle, and he was like,
I remember you brought
and
it up.
I'm like, barely off Centrelink, sitting there like telling this guy that's like plays stadiums every night that he doesn't know how to shuffle, and he didn't like it.
No.
No.
What did he say to that?
He disagreed.
Yeah.
Then we told Shiflet again, and
Shiflet
he
agreed. Yeah.
So do you
One of
mean
the other Foo Fighters agreed?
Germany
boring everyone?
next? I want to know, you're heading to Berlin, you're heading to Hamburg, you're playing some big international shows. What's it like playing overseas? Do you have a massive Delta scene over there as much as... Because every time you play a show anywhere in Sydney or Melbourne that I've been to, it has been balls to the wall crazy. So what is it like playing over in Europe? Do you have similar shows?
I love Europe.
We haven't been there for 5 years, and we were about to go, I think, about 2 years ago, but it was around this Active Galactic tour you were talking about, and we'd done like 7 weeks. We went and did a tour with Eagles of Death Metal in the States, and they were in a bus, and we were in a van, and we were just constantly like playing catch up because they would just sleep in the bus, and we just like drive through the night. It was like get there like 10 minutes before
we
doors.
left 3 hours late the first day,
that
and it threw us out for
threw us
a
out
whole
for
week.
a long time because these jokers
Clowns.
were just asleep. We couldn't. That's a different story. So the reason why we didn't go to Europe was because it was one of these like we were at each other, like not in this jovial fun way. We were in keg throwing territory, and we were like, if we go over, we're gonna break up. That's actually another reason, a secret to why we haven't broken up is because we sometimes just put the brakes on shit and just like Eddie Vedder, who I watched on a Netflix special, tell me like he was just saying Ricky Gervais did.
He told you. Eddie Vedder told
I
you.
feel like I need to bring that up again because that's what he said before. He's like, anyway, so Ricky Gervais is telling me on his
Via
Netflix
television
special that 50,000 other people are watching. He gave me some real good advice. And the same thing happened with Eddie Vedder, except in person.
Yeah.
And he said the way to like not like break up your band is just like go away from each other for a while. Just like if you get too pissed off, just go away. Like you don't have to do this big massive like we're breaking up. You just have to go away, or you can quit the band internally like we do all the time.
Yeah.
But don't tell anyone else.
Of course.
The whole thing about the quitting is that it just gives you a thing that you know that you can quit eventually. So you come back and be like, well, like it's easy to quit.
Oh yeah,
because
it's
I
power
just
play.
did it. So I'm coming back.
Yeah.
But just beware.
So hopefully you don't quit before you do the Australian tour and get around to Australia dates.
We're very much back
yeah.
together.
Well,
I think
I
our
hope
manager's quitting though.
Okay.
I told that.
Well,
the
I
other
think
day.
we'll quit a few times, but we'll always get back together. Like,
and the reason why I want you together is because, look, I go to your shows not just to see you guys do your thing, because I think you're spectacular live. But another reason I go to your shows is not to see you, but to see what your crowd will do. And I've seen some weird things at the Delta Rigs.
So you can't see much of the crowd past the first
what have
4
you
rows.
seen?
I mean,
tell us.
what
do you
Monty's
see?
got some weird
I've got
stories
some weird
too.
shit
Well,
to tell you.
Funnily enough, I'm wearing a flamingo shirt because I remember for a little while, at a lot of your shows, that someone would always bring a flamingo.
Oh, yeah, we're boosting flamingos out the
Yeah,
front.
we were
Yeah.
boosting flamingos left, right,
Yeah,
center
and so
there
there'd
for
be
a while.
like just flamingos flying everywhere. A lot of people just like lying down
We had a
on the
flamingo in the
ground.
band.
that reeks
at
of
one point.
mushrooms.
Yeah, like just lying down while people were pouring whiskey over them, and I just remember I loved going. I liked people watching at your show. You guys would be up the stage. I just watch the crowd.
That one.
So what are some of the weird things you guys
That
were saying?
Festival of the Sun thing. That's the one that.
Oh, that takes the cake, man. But
Festival
like,
of the Sun?
okay,
Festival
yeah.
of the Sun. Yeah, there was a you tell it.
I mean, we weren't on stage when this happened, but
Weren't we? No.
no, but so this is just so
Bizarre.
disturbing. And
Have you got time for this?
I've got time for
all
it.
right, so there's like these
I,
guys.
I like when Elliot knows it's going to be a big story. He leans
I know,
forward.
yeah, I
forward,
really, I
All
get
right,
into
strap
game
yourself
mode.
in.
Story time with Elliot
Totally. I'm trying to remember how it started. There was
They
like
were wrestling.
they were wrestling, yeah, and items of clothing started coming off,
They were
and they're in a
two-man
sand
wrestling,
pit.
by the way.
two like
Quite
not guys
burly.
like us, like real men, you know,
They
like
could have
with
done
muscles.
some- could have done
things.
So
Yeah.
you've seen this
injuries.
festival's in Port Macquarie,
Shaved
on
legs,
kind of like the
etc.
beach. There's like sand and grass, and it's sort of, and they
And so
started.
they were wrestling around for a while, and then like
Oh, it was a dance pit. Though,
yeah,
with the circle.
the circle pit formed around them, and people kind of egging them, and then like clothes started coming off, and item by item until like all of a sudden like these dudes are like completely naked, wrestling, and it went and it built up, and then like
They got sexual.
and then
It was a
it got
bit- it was a
and then
bit
they started
aggressive,
making
wasn't it?
out.
They just made
But
out
these guys, like,
naked.
and that's cool, like
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. But they weren't these guys. They weren't
They were at each
disposed to
other's
this.
throats.
Well, they weren't
Yeah, they were
lovers.
like aggressive at the
The,
start.
the funny thing was that like it started out really aggressive,
That's it.
and then it turned
ended in
just
passion.
into passion. Yeah.
It's kind of
Better
like
than-
fights,
better than-
in-band fights. Is that how it's...
But the thing was, there was a bit of people were unhappy, not because of the kissing or the gay element, because I think people wanted to see a good old tumble, you know, like, and it didn't play out that way. So people started kicking sand to try and break it up. It was bizarre. It was like I'll never forget it.
Oh gosh! All right. Well, moving on to something completely different. On Wednesday, you, Rudy, you're
Yes.
in the studio with my dear friend Ruben from Peking Duck.
On Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
What's it? Friday. Yep. Wednesday. There we go.
Yep, that
Wednesday.
checks out.
Wednesday,
2
Thursday,
days.
Friday.
Apparently, according to him, you went to his bar, Talk to Me, in Melbourne. You guys
yeah.
became instant friends. And then you're like, let's hang out, let's record. And you went straight into the studio. And according to him, you guys have a banger.
He told me.
I would like.
I think it's going to turn out well. Yeah, Ruben's he's channeling a bit of Kenny Powers at the moment. It's so good. But he's a legend though, and he's really good at what he does. And yeah, we just met at his. He's got a bar, and he's telling me about it. It's like instead of doing something sensible like a house, it's like we just bought a bar after we finished touring. Well, that sounds like
Pretty
everyone.
sensible.
Yeah, everyone's everyone wants a bar. We just met out there one night, and yeah, just got along and just worked up an instrumental thing for him. I think he's going over to LA to do some more Peking
Who's
Duck
going to
stuff.
feat on the track if you talk
I
about
don't
it?
know. I don't know. It's just he's doing a whole bunch. He's writing some cool stuff with some good people, and he's
Yeah.
just doing. I think just working up a whole bunch of instrumentals, and then I guess you see what floats to the top.
Yeah.
They usually have
And they get good
features.
feats.
Yeah. So he's told me the name is called Karen.
Oh yeah, then
I know this all of a sudden.
I do my job. But he won't tell me why it's called Karen. And he asked me to ask you, why is it called Karen?
it's called Karen because it's. He said he'd ask you to ask me what it's about because he knows that I can't say where it came from.
Okay.
No, it was a crude joke that had the bunch of characters, and one of the characters was there's like Michael Karen or something, and we just
I can see you
chose a
squirming.
random.
So I
Yeah,
know
I'm
that-
squirming.
I really want to know what this is
questioning.
Probably not politically correct.
Nah,
is it
you
not?
can't tell.
Okay.
You can't tell the joke.
Okay.
It's one of those things we hear, and I was just like, oh, this is a little bit poor taste, which is why he would have want you to try to get me to tell it.
We're going to wind up on
Kids,
music
he's,
feeds if you tell the story.
No, he's good at trying to wind people up and get them into like disastrous situations. I found out,
Which is what he's
which is what he's trying here. No, nice try,
attempted,
Ruben.
and he failed.
Nice one, mate.
They're just those guys are just good old fashioned party boys, party pigs.
Yeah,
They know how to
I think we got a
party.
good song.
Yeah.
They do write good
You know
songs,
that,
though.
yeah.
They give the people what they want. Like well, some of the stuff he's showing, he's so into it, and he's just like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah, I'm into it too now. He's like, and it's just all the stuff he's showing, just like they're good at writing bangers.
We do have a few questions in from the viewers, and that is, how did you all come together in this band in the first place?
Well, you started it as a...
Yeah, it wasn't none of these guys were even here actually.
Rudy was. Were you? No.
No, he started on drums.
Yeah.
It was like this guy called Aaron Jackson, who was really like he and I started the band. He was like really cool. He like used to wear like Harley Davidson shirts and like drive
Great hair.
to like the Carrara markets and smoke like what did he smoke? Like Benson and Hedges. Then he moved to the Kents with the charcoal filters, which took the Gold Coast by storm. Yeah, we were all smoking Kents there for a while.
That's
yeah.
a terrible thing to encourage the kids to do.
I don't smoke anymore.
Good.
So actually, none of us smoke, do you, Rudy? You've just quit as well.
I've got
Are you lying?
You're
to
on
us?
the edge.
Don't lie on the
I've
air.
got a little
You
one
got
of those little
fame.
jewels.
That's fine.
Anyway, then I mean, like Rudy and I knew each other because we were we'd played, actually all of us, we were playing in punk bands. And Jesse and I were at school together, but we were in different years. But it was the punk thing that we all came together because we were all doing in this scene.
Blink-182 cover band?
Pretty much. Newfound Glory.
The Ataris. Remember the Ataris?
The Ataris.
I taught Elite how to drive too.
Yeah, Monty did teach me how to drive, actually.
Back on the
Yeah.
Goldie days. Never used to race, but that's how we met.
Yeah. I mean, we were like... We never thought it was a serious band. It was this little joke party band. We'd play the Hard Rock Cafe to a bunch of our friends and think we were, like, rad. You know what I mean? Like,
rent a crowd?
yeah, full rent-a-crowd.
Free drinks. Like, woo.
Yeah, so I hope that answers the question.
It does, thoroughly.
That's right.
Let's like punch through these as quickly as
punch.
possible.
Sorry.
I want to
Punch
see
that
if we can get
person
as
for asking
many of
that
these
question.
answered.
Waffle.
Favorite festival or gig and why?
Ever?
Quick game's a good game.
I can't remember any of them.
I think that Suncorp Stadium one with Foo Fighters was my favourite gig that we've played. Or actually, the one where we got that tour in LA. Sorry, that's mine.
Yeah, that was a good
We
show.
turned
So
the
a lot of
crowd
those,
in LA.
a lot of those New
that was a
York
good
shows, CMJ shows, are pretty
Yeah.
good too. Aussie Barbecue in London.
Oh, that
really
was cool
good.
too.
Yeah.
And Charlotte.
And
did
someone
on stage.
came up and get that James Brown coat. Remember?
Yeah, that was cool. The ones where you remember the most are the ones where the crowd's not into you, but by the end of the show, they're completely into you.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah,
win
that's
them.
a good one.
I really liked the last time we did Yours and Ours as well with the Rubens, and the Rubens had turned up 20 minutes before us, and they wanted to go swimming, so they took our towels.
Oh, this is good.
And so on stage, I'm like, I called the Rubens out for like taking our towels. I'm like, we want 6 towels. Like, we know you've been swimming with them, but we want these towels back. And then like we came off stage and the guys, like, we'd never met the Rubens before. Obviously we didn't care about the towels, but like, oh man, we're really sorry we brought you these towels back.
That's so nice.
They're really nice guys.
They're waiting for you to towel you off. You know, here's some water.
So yeah, Yours and Ours, I think that's a good festival. We're doing that again.
So we
I'm
went for
looking forward
5 of our
That's
favourite
top 5.
Given we live in such a digital age, what was your favorite comment moment on social media?
Jesse did something on this the other day.
Can you repeat the question?
So, considering that we live in a digital age, what has been your favorite comment or moment on social media?
Gee.
fleshing this one out, mate. Don't make a meal of it.
I don't.
I like
To be
the one.
honest, I don't really.
The thing
I'm not really like that tapped into pop culture.
No, but I mean, reflecting to us,
Yeah, no, I know what you know, like the
it's
one.
the
there
10
was-
the 10 things.
Yeah,
is
that's
the best
exactly
thing that's
it,
ever
yeah.
happened to us.
We're in New
Oh.
York. We're
10 reasons. What was
Yes.
10 reasons why you know your band sucks.
And it was the last one.
number one
was
was-
You Are the Delta Reefs.
Yeah.
But
And
the,
I actually-
the former 9 basically just picked us apart, and then the last
Your
10th
band's called the Delta Rigs.
Your band is
one.
called
Yeah.
No, it was the 10th one.
Yeah, like
It was
top.
like the
And,
Yeah, like-
and
yeah, like
I
the-
actually
yeah,
tried
the
to
cherry
find
on
that
top.
article again, and it's been deleted. So the person who wrote it
We know who
won't
wrote
mention
it.
names.
Yeah, but
But,
we plotted some
He
things.
he's like pulled it because he feels embarrassed.
He likes
about
us now.
Pansy.
It. He likes us.
He
now.
went to the show.
We
He's
like
I'm
him
wrong.
as
He
well.
booked one of the
He
shows.
booked the show.
Laid that up.
That was probably the best one. I do love reading those negative comments of like
The mean ones are the best ones.
they're the best.
Really.
Yeah.
That whole thing, that mean tweets thing
All
that
right.
they do is great.
How do your girlfriend's partners cope when you're on tour, and is it hard?
No.
That's a good question.
Well, I just got broken up with recently, so pretty bad.
Oh, moving on. If you guys weren't
Mine-
playing together.
Mine relaxed. Mine sleeps diagonally on the bed and says, "This is great. I can just have the whole thing." And then she goes on tour herself sometimes.
Sometimes the break is nice for both parties.
But Carly must love it.
I don't. My girlfriend has no other lifestyle because since we've been together, I've been doing this. So it was just like it was always the same.
We're about to see you guys perform a song in the studio. What song will you be playing? And can you tell us a little bit about it?
It's a song basically about reaching out to your friends and just kind of looking after each other. And sometimes people, and I mean like a lot of us do, you kind of when you get down like that, and everyone has their own anxieties or issues with life and trying to get out of bed in the morning or whatever, and sometimes you don't feel like actually like reaching out. So this song is basically about, you know, your friend getting around you and kind of doing the opposite and reaching out to you and being like, come on, man, come on, I'm coming around to your house and we're going to go out and, you know, put our hands in the air and feel the morning breeze or something cutesy like that, you know, fly a kite or something.
And finally, boys, the album coming out very, very, very soon. What's the one thing that you're looking forward to most now that the album is just about to break?
I'm looking forward to playing the songs.
Yeah, that's got to be up there.
Yeah.
Just getting a new set together and learning how to do them live, because that's a whole other kettle of fish.
Yeah, we haven't figured that out. We're actually about to go and do that after this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to just getting like, even with the stuff that's out already, like we're doing Snow Tunes soon, and there's a bunch of music that is being released by us, but we haven't really been in front of the crowds to play it. So to see the reaction to the songs live is going to be really exciting. Yeah, also, I just feel like it's about time we just got back on the road and started fucking shit up again. So it's a good excuse to do that.
I haven't quit the band in a while, so
yeah, exactly. So it's about you.
On sports bet, you can actually bet on who's going to quit the band next.
Yeah, I'm going to put my money on you, Jesse.
I think you've quit the band at least.
Yeah, but he's like...
I've quit my band. I've quit the band in my head more times
daily.
than you know.
Well, boys, I must say thank you so much for joining me here
Danny.
in the
Thank
Build
you so much.
Studios. Round of applause
Yeah,
for the Delta
Danny.
Rigs.
Pleasure as always.
Thank you
Finally,
for enduring
about
that.
to see them performing right here in the studio. This is the Delta Rigs.
Back to you in the studio.
And action.
Downtown, okay. Downtown. Grab an inch and take a mile that'll last all day. I got it from a friend of mine, a friend that'll never stay. So I take your picture. We haven't met yet, but it's sure nice to meet you. We can hang out and get high behind the bleachers. If it's raining, we'll just stay inside the house and chat. Feeling like it's so far out of place. Why don't you come over? Sure like to see you. Feeling like it's so far out of place. Why don't you come over? Dying to see you. Well, I got time on my hands. That's pretty much all I have. And I wake up every day to waste my time away. So we still Bacardi, and on the weekend take it to a house party. Yeah, 'cause we're so lucky when I'm talking to you, girl. My hands are sweaty and I don't know what to say. I'm feeling like you're so far out of place. Why don't you come over? I'd sure like to see you. I'm feeling like you're so far out of place. We could take a boat to Santa Maria. Feeling like you're so far out of place. Why don't you come